Hello everybody and welcome back to Electric Mindset. Today I want to show you an action-packed side-scroller that might give you some Mega Man vibes. Let's take a look. So, weirdly enough, I can't tell you about the options because there aren't really any to talk about. There isn't a single graphics option that I could see. My first impression of the game was similar to when you dip your toe into the water before jumping in. The menu system looks really polished, but weirdly I couldn't access any of the options when I first launched it. You play as Lancelot, one of the best Knights of the Round Table. The gameplay is structured similarly to old Mega Man games, where you choose bosses to go after each stage. To be honest, it was really nice and nostalgic to see that kind of setup again. The controls in the game have some consistency issues, and on odd occasions, you seem to slice through an enemy instead of hitting them or projectiles. The controls definitely seem to have quirks that can cause a bit of frustration. There's a heavy focus on the parry mechanic introduced to you early on. The parry mechanic is so important that if you want to make good progress in the game, then you almost need to get used to the mechanic in order to gain any real currency. I don't understand the design decision to make killing enemies yield no reward unless parried. I understand the game says that the Knight's kill is a last resort, so I could understand maybe a half-point game, but to get nothing is a questionable choice. The game allows you to heal by charging up while standing in place. This makes healing a risk and reward situation you must keep in mind when in the heat of the moment. The enemies pose a real threat, and you can die very quickly if you let your guard down. With that said, being able to dash, run up walls, and more should make it so that you are able to avoid anything that gets thrown at you. One gripe I had with the gameplay is that there would be times where I found myself asking if the game was difficult on purpose or due to slightly flawed design choices. The parry being such a big focus in the combat made me experience some inconsistencies in parry timing. As you do make it through the levels, each boss will give you a new ability to use, and interestingly enough, if you want to switch things up, then you can play from an alternative perspective as Galahad. The game really looks awesome despite the complete lack of graphic settings. The game kind of felt like a modernized Mega Man in design, but Fallen Knight has enough uniqueness to really stand out. Fairplay Studios really nailed the aesthetic they were going for. It is easy to see where the inspirations came from, but from the enemies to the bosses, all the designs were pretty cool and felt truly original. The sound design in the game is pretty good, and the music is one action-packed track after another. I was actually pretty happy with the music overall as I progressed through the game, and the sound effects sounded appropriate for their use. I don't really have any complaints in the sound design department. It's worth mentioning that there is a boss rush mode after completing the game, so if that is your type of thing, then you'll have that at least. Now, as much as I love the look and sound of the game, I can't recommend this game at the full price of $19 Canadian. I would say to wait for a sale on this game. This title's not hard but fair. It seems far too often that it is hard because of questionable difficulty balancing and inconsistencies in the controls. The parrying mechanic is greatly needed, and you'll find the timing lets you down sometimes as you seemingly do the exact same thing but fail to parry. The story page talks about the game being a Dark Souls-esque challenge, but coming from a massive fan of the Dark Souls series, I would say this game misses the mark a bit in terms of difficulty balance. Dark Souls has a great understanding of the hard but fair balance mentality. That paired with solid and tight controls makes you feel like when you die, it is more often than not your fault, and as a player, you know that. In Fallen Knight, I found myself dying way too much to things that felt beyond my control or due to odd design. If you want to check out the game, then I encourage you to do so by using the link in the description. The game comes out July 20th, so you won't be waiting very long for it. While it might not be what developer Fairplay Studios was expecting, I hope they can learn from Fallen Knight and continue to work on bettering their series. With that said, I really want to thank Fairplay Studios and the Indie Game Collective for allowing me to show this to you in the first place. I know for some of you out there this might be just what you were looking for. Well, that's what I wanted to show, and if you enjoyed the video, it would really be helping me to support more developers if you like and subscribe for more content from me. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!